What's up, guys? Honey here, bringing you the 7 Deadly Sins manga review. This is chapter 307, titled Epilogue 1. We're almost at the end, guys. Technically, we have one more chapter after this, Epilogue 2, and it's over. It'll be no more 7 Deadly Sins, sadly. Kind of disappointed about that. If I would have known that, I would have been trying to review it earlier, but it is what it is. But, in this chapter, we get a little bit of everybody moment. It starts off with the king talking to Slayer and his right-hand man, and he's telling them that even though we're in mourning and stuff like that, and the important thing right now is to remember everyone that passed thanks to this holy war, and to try to live on and better the kingdom so we can prevent this from ever happening again. And Slayer was like, "You right," and then the king offered Slayer a mission, or I think invitation to somewhere, and Slayer's right-hand man was like, sorry, king, but we can't really do it because we have a mission tonight. And Slayer actually ends up bopping him on the head, and then he was like, ignore him, yes, we be there. And it was hilarious. And after that, we get other moments of other people. We get Dreyfus and Henderson. We get their moment and how they talking about the Holy War and how they're surprised how everything's ending and how these two old veterans can like actually still live and keep up with this times and stuff like that. And they're just reminiscent. And you also have Dreyfus mad at Henderson for tricking him and not letting him know that he was tricking Voodoo to actually worship him, to pretend to, so he could go with them and save the first princess. But then Henderson was like, I wasn't really pretending, I really was serving him since it's my duty as a druid. And you see Henderson just looked at him wrong, like, you still on that? And, they have a funny moment between them. Then we switch over, and we see Jericho, and she's in her, regular skirt costume or dress. And she's checking herself out and stuff, and she was like, I wonder if this is okay now. Hopefully we don't get attacked. And then we hear a familiar voice creeps up on her, and it's actually Gila and her little baby brother, Dale, and they say hi and stuff. And Jericho mentioned something very weird to her brother, Dale. She was like, I hope you're ready to work tomorrow. I'm going to work you to the bone. I'm not going to go easy on you. And Gila hears this, of course, because she's there, and she gets in her face, and she's like, what do you mean you're going to work my brother? I guess she was thinking something completely different than what she was going to say, and she told her, well, your brother asked me to train him so he could become a great royal knight one day to protect his sister. And she got happy hearing that, so she ended up hugging and kissing her brother. And you see Jericho there like, whew. She had that like exhaustion face, like, I'm happy I got her away from me. Then we switch over and we have this other moment with like the elves and, not the elves, I'm sorry, the fairies and the giants. And we see, I always forget her name, Melitronis, I believe it's pronounced, or Metaronis. The Diane's friend, the giant with the long blonde hair. We see her and she's actually human sized. She states that Diane gave her medication so she can join the party tonight that they got invited to by the king personally. So that's why the fairies and the giants are there. They said fairies and giants with an S, so I'm assuming that all the other giants most likely are there. The little bit that's left, they probably got shrunk down as well, thanks to the medicine that Diane got from Merlin. So, Matrona, there you go, that's her name, Matrona. I just remember now. Sounds like my video was for Friday, but yeah, Matrona, she states that, and we see a couple of fairies there as well. We see kings. The first fairy king, his sister, she's there. We see another fairy in the back. It was a very touching moment. Then we have this hilarious moment with Bon and Meliodas and Hawk. And Hawk is in the corner crying. We're eating scraps on the floor, and so like, what are you doing here by yourself? And he was like crying and venting on them, saying how I felt useless and I couldn't be helpful. And Meliodas was like, well, that's never changed, you've always been like that. And Bon had to slap him for being disrespectful. And then he was like, I'm sorry I couldn't have helped y'all, I wish I was stronger. And he was like, yeah, I wish you were stronger as well. And then Bon slapped him again in the back of the head. And we had this funny moment between the three. And Bon was like, you have courage and hope, and that's something that most people don't have. And you're always risking your life to save your friends. And we're happy that you are doing this. And he looks at Bon and Meliodas and Hawk starts to cry even more. He smiles. He's like, "You guys are the best." And he goes runs to hug him, but they both dodge at the same time. And he was like, "Hey, you guys are supposed to dodge my hugs." And Meliodas states, "Well, you're full of scraps and boogies and tyranny. We don't want to be hugged by that." And you just have Bon in the background. This time he doesn't say nothing or do nothing. He just laughs. But they end up all going to Meliodas' bar. And as you see in my thumbnail, everybody's in the bar drinking. You have all the characters there. You have Bon as the cook, Meliodas, of course, as the server, the bartender. Then you have Dan, King, Escanor, who's gonna be in his human form from now on, since he lost Sunshine. He gave Sunshine up, and what's her name? Elizabeth. You have all four, and they're servers, so they're just going around serving people their food and their drinks, while Meliodas and Bon are cooking the bartender. So it was pretty interesting, and we see literally all the main characters there. We see Slayer and his people. We see the king. We see the princesses. We see Gil Thunder, which we did have a funny moment with Gil Thunder and his lover in this chapter as well, with Hauser and them. That was hilarious as well. But it was a pretty good chapter until the end, where Bon brings up something that we already knew, because last chapter what happened between Bon and I always forget her name for some reason. I remember and I forget. The wizard chick. But Merlin. There you go, Merlin. If you remember last chapter, Merlin and Bon had like this weird facial expression when he showed his power, his new power, and he destroyed those curses on them. They both looked dissatisfied, where everyone else looked happy. And Bon brings up, "So when are you leaving?" And he was like, "Oh, so you noticed." And I'm like, "Oh, things are not going to be all good and happy like we thought it was." So that was the end of the chapter. Not really sure what's going to happen to Meliodas. I mean, it was stated that the Demon King and Supreme Deity cannot survive in this world because they're too strong. So I guess he finally reached that level, which makes sense because of the training in Purgatory. That him and Bon will be so strong. Even though Bon's not that level where it's like he's affected by that, "Oh, I have to leave this worst" type of stuff, but Meliodas sadly is. So, but I have this weird feeling that wherever he goes, Elizabeth will most likely follow. Oh, who knows? Maybe the Supreme Deity will show up and be like, "You know what? You've been through a lot, I'm sorry." And then she does something to Meliodas or Elizabeth that will allow them to always be together in a good way, to correct her mistakes. But we have to wait, not next week, but the following week, since we're on break next week. So we got 2 weeks left for the last chapter, Epilogue 2. Can't wait. I want to see what happens. Hopefully it's not like a sad ending where Meliodas is just like, "Well, I saved y'all, peace, broke the curse, I'm out." And like we don't ever see him again, and then Elizabeth will be stuck here for the rest of her human life. So that'd be a sad, terrible ending, but at the same time it would be kind of realistic. Unless they do some like Romeo and Juliet type of thing, and like she ends up killing herself, and then Meliodas follows. I mean, or she just follows Meliodas wherever he goes. But at least so far, everyone else seems happy. But yeah, chapter 307 of 7 Deadly Sins. Great chapter, great stuff. Again, it was just the epilogue chapter, so kind of disappointed that it's ending. I was hoping for it to go a little bit longer, but it is what it is. That's all I have for you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Give this video a like. Comment down below what you thought of these chapters and what you think about this epilogue chapter. And are you happy how things are going? Or are you upset or sad about it? Tell me your thoughts and opinions. That's all I have for you guys. Peace out and have a good one.